Hi everyone, how's it going? Day 16, congrats, you've officially made it over the halfway hump. What we're gonna need for class today are 2 blocks and a blanket. If you don't have blocks or a blanket, you can still play along with me today. Just modify and do what you can without them. So when you have all of your belongings gathered, go ahead and come to a comfortable seat. Get all your fidgets, all your wiggles out, find some physical stillness, and then go ahead and close your eyes. Turn all your focus onto your breath or any other object in your mind or body. You can just solely focus on that one thing. Something that brings on a sense of calm, a sense of peace. Gradually start to make the breath longer, more even, so that the inhales match the exhales. And make your next inhale and exhale be a little bit deeper. And then return to a natural rhythm of breath. Open up the eyes. All right, so we're gonna be playing with a back bend today, my favorite. So just take one of your blocks and you'll need your blanket. And we're gonna set our blanket up so that it takes this kind of bigger shape, right? Something that's gonna support the majority of the trunk. Right? And if you have fringes on your blanket, just go ahead and take them up towards the front edge of your mat, and this even edge, right? So place the blanket towards the center of the mat, and this even edge is gonna support the block. So the block's gonna go on, the wide edge is gonna run parallel with the wide edge of the blanket, and you're gonna create this little ramp. And then come to sit up on this ramp, and then use your hands to take yourself onto your back. Now, when you're down on the ramp, you want the block to be inverted the entire time. So if you notice that you've come up on it, right, just adjust yourself so that the sacrum is still evenly resting on the block, but you've kept the incline intact. Check in with the chest. Right? You want to have a sense of feeling upliftedness. Now draw the right knee in towards the chest. Take the hands onto the knee, the shin, or the back of the thigh, right? Somewhere that feels stable and comfortable. Right. If you're having, not if you're having, but again, being here, right? You want to stay, the chest to stay open, the arms to stay drawn back into their sockets. Right. So start to draw this right thigh a little closer towards the chest, right? And then bring your attention to this whole inner line of the leg, right? Even both legs, right? So we want to maintain this lift on the thighs, on the entire inner line of the leg. And what happens naturally, right? So we either kind of want to like let the leg droop out to the side or let the leg fall in towards center. But when we start to engage this inner thigh, there should be this kind of feeling of like plugging in towards center, right? Where the leg kind of neutralizes itself. That's what we're looking for anyway. Now, any amount you can, go ahead and straighten the left leg. And again, find that lift on the inner line of the left leg as well. You can close your eyes. Just don't fall asleep on me. Rebend the left leg, plant the foot, and then bring the right leg down to the ground to meet the left. Pause here. And then draw the left knee in towards the chest. Right? Maintain that open chest, right? But then find that line in the inner legs, right? So that we're a bit more plugged in. Allow the left leg to heavy and come towards the chest, and then any amount straighten the right leg. Refine that long line in the right leg. And then breathe. Rebend the right leg, bring the foot back to the floor. Take the left leg to meet the right, and then pause here. Press down through the feet, lift the hips up, okay, and go ahead and take your block on its medium height. Right, and then just notice maybe your blanket might be in the way, maybe not, but if it is, just kind of tuck it and like roll it up out of the way so that the block can come directly under the sacrum and you can rest the sacrum onto the block. Now, obviously, if this is too much for you, you can go back to the lower setting. And then in a moment, we're going to take this up one more onto the highest setting. But if you feel good here, then stay here. Press down through the feet, lift the hips. Switch your block onto the highest height. Rest the sacrum. All right, lengthen from the inner thigh out through the knee. Press down through the feet, hug the outer hips in, right? Lift the hips up off the block, remove the block to the side, and then one by one, right, just lower yourself down. So now you're shifting your weight from the shoulder blades all the way down to the sacrum. There's going to be a little bit of unevenness because of that blanket fold. Take yourself onto your right side. Use your arm as a pillow. Stay for a round of breath. Press your hand into the ground. And then make your way up to a seat. Clear your mats. And then have your blocks up at the front edge of your mat, ready to go. And we will meet standing up at the top. Find Tadasana. Connect with your entire body, right, from the soles of your feet to the crown of your head. Shift your weight into your right leg, right? Bend the knees. Right, hug that right outer hip in, and then bend the left knee so much that the heel starts to come towards the seat, right? And you can grab onto that ankle or your foot with the left arm. Right, take the right arm, send it back, right? And then press the foot into the hands into the foot. Right, dig deep into that long line on the inner leg to keep yourself upright. Right, hug the outer hips in, right? And have this slight wrapping back of the glutes, all of that coming in towards center, right? So they start to wrap back from the sides, right? And in towards the sacrum, and everything starts to slightly press forward. Right, release the right hand, bend deeper through the knee, start to hinge forward. All right, let go of the left leg and bring both of your arms back by your sides, palms facing up. Bend deeper into the standing leg to land in a high lunge. When you do, stay on this incline, stay hinged, right? Keep a flat back here, and then just press the arms up towards the sky 3 times. All right, so right now you're in a bit more of an internal rotation. We're gonna take the arms to an external rotation. So turn the upper arm bone out away from the trunk, sweep the arms up by to frame the head. Take the hands down to the ground. All right, step the right leg back to a 3-legged dog. From here, we're gonna open up the hips, so stack the hips. All right, keep the chest as even to the ground as possible, right? So just the lower body starts to rotate, and then bend that right knee to bring the heel as close to the seat as possible. And that would be your right cheek. Straighten the leg, even out the hips, bring the right leg down to meet the left. Roll forward to plank pose, right? Slide right into that neutral position, and then lower to the ground, either in one piece or take the knees down first. All right, hands come down by the ribs, right? Press the pubic bone into the ground and find that same wrapping action of the muscles coming in towards the sacrum, right? So the sacrum presses forward with the pubic bone into the ground. With that anchor, lift up, right, from the back body and lengthen from the front body, any amount. Cobra. Exhale, fold. Wrap the upper arms in, reach the tailbone down, press up onto all fours or straight up to plank. And then exhale back, downward facing dog. From the inner thigh, lift the right leg. On an exhale, step it forward in between your hands. Inhale, look forward and lengthen. Exhale, step forward, fold into the legs. Inhale, circle the arms up. And then exhale, dive and fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, circle the arms up. And take them down by your sides. Shift your weight onto your left foot, bend the right knee and bring the foot as close to the seat as possible. Make contact with the hand, right, on the leg, the foot, the ankle, whichever is most accessible. And find that you have that internal rotation here of the arm. So the upper arm bone is going to come in towards the trunk now. Hug and wrap the hips in and back so that the sacrum presses forward towards the front of the pelvis. And then take that left arm to meet the right. Reach up through the sides of the trunk and lift the sternum away from the navel. Release the left arm. Bend through the standing leg, hinge forward. Release the foot, right? And then take both arms down by your sides, palms facing up. Step that right foot back to a high lunge. Press the arms up 3 times, just like you're giving the sky a high five. Right? Just turn the arms out, sweep them up and forward, and then down to the mat. 3-legged dog. Keep the chest squared. Stack the hips. And then bend the knee. Bring that left heel towards, bring the heel towards the left glute. Straighten the leg. Even out the hips. Lower the leg down. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Inhale forward to plank. Exhale, lower to the ground. Inhale up for cobra. Exhale down. Wrap the arms, reach the tailbone. Press up to plank or to all fours. And then back to downward facing dog. Lift the left leg. Step it forward in between the hands. Inhale, look forward and lengthen. Exhale, step forward, fold into the legs. Inhale, circle the arms up. Exhale, dive and fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. This time, bend the knees. Take the arms up, chair pose. Okay, so keep the low back long. Lift through the whole front body. Sit a little deeper through the ankles and knees. Dive and fold forward. Plant the hands and then hop back to a down dog. Roll forward to plank. And then either stick with a cobra or lower halfway for chaturanga. Roll up and over the toes for Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, upward facing dog. Find that long line of lift in the legs. Reach the sternum up away from the navel. And on an exhale, come back to a downward facing dog. Bend the knees, step the feet in about an inch or two, take the gaze forward. We're going to hop forward to the front of the mat, but you're going to think about bringing the hips up over the shoulders. So when you're ready, press into the hands. And then when you come forward, fold into the legs, Uttanasana. Circle the arms up. Dive and fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. We're going to do this once more. So find chair, right? Low back long, front body long. Dive and fold forward. Plant the hands, bend the elbows, hop back to a dog. Roll forward to plank. Lower halfway or to the ground, and your choice of a back bend. And then exhale back, downward facing dog. Step the feet in, bend the knees, gaze forward. Think of bringing the hips over the shoulders. Fold into the legs. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Sweep the arms up. Draw a prayer to your heart. Close the eyes. Take 3 deep breaths. Go ahead and open up the eyes. Take the arms up. Right, stay long in the entire body. Hug and wrap those hips in. Bring the sacrum slightly forward. Lift up onto the toes. And then lower all the way down to the ground. Take your time. Take your time. Right, dig into those inner thighs. And then when you come down, plant the hands. Stay up on the toes. Plant the hands. Right. And then walk the feet back to a down dog. Roll forward to plank. And then lower to the ground in one piece, going as slow as possible. Take your time. And then when you arrive, lift and lengthen the right leg. Lift and lengthen the left leg. Rest your head onto the ground. All right, we'll just be here for a moment, so forehead comes to the mat. Keep your hands down by your ribs and then wrap the upper arms in towards your ribs, right? So the arms stay really narrow, but the chest stays broad. Continue to lift the heads of the shoulders back away from the midline. So again, collarbones, chest is broad. All right, bring your attention down onto your lower body. Right. Hug the hips in. And wrap the muscles back so that the sacrum comes towards the front, the pubic bone, right? Press all that into the mat, right? But not like a jamming press, just like a nudge press, right? So that we're intentional, right, and kind, but firm. All right, keep the low back long. Right, and then use the muscles in the back body to lift your chest, lift the head, and take the gaze forward. Right, and then lengthen the sternum up away from the navel. Keep the shoulders drawing back away from the ears. Keep the legs heavy and long. And then exhale, lower down to the ground. Return the forehead to the mat. We're coming right back up in a sec. All All right, keep the arms and the chest exactly where they are, but now we're going to turn the attention onto the legs. Right, so re-dig into that anchor of the hips, right? So we'll hug the outer hips in, lengthen the low back, right? So the sacrum presses in towards the pubic bone, and the pubic bone comes down towards the ground. Bend the knees, right? And lift up from the inner thighs. Any amount, right? It could be like a half of whatever. You don't even really need to see it so much, but just feel it. And then lower the legs, straighten the legs. Right, come down onto the right cheek. Rest your arms down by your sides, palms facing up. Switch and take the head to the left cheek. Gotta be careful I don't squish my mic. And then bring the head back to center. All right, bring the hands back towards the ribs, right? Wrap the upper arms in towards the sides of the trunk. All right, this time we're going to lift everything up off the ground all at once. So hands are just going to lift and hover exactly where they are, right? Legs are going to lift and hover exactly where they are. But we're going to lift everything at the same time. All right, so hug the outer hips in, press the sacrum in towards the pubic bone in towards the ground. Right. Reach long through the inner thighs, like out through the big toe. Lift the shoulders away from the midline. On your next inhale, you'll take everything up. So full exhale, and then inhale, lift. Take the gaze forward. Keep lifting through the inner line of the legs. Lift through the chest. Hold here, and then just worry about your breathing. Well, don't actually worry, but just think about your breath. Breathe your breath. What? Breathe. And then exhale, lower everything down. Take the right cheek down. Relax the low back. Take the left cheek down. Come back to center. And this time extend the arms down by your sides. Again, palms facing up. Bend the right knee. Grab onto the foot. And then just think about bringing that foot a little closer. But as you do that, again, tap into that inner line of the legs and keep the legs as parallel and narrow as possible. Right, so we just want to keep the legs at a hip distance, but keep that neutralness that we found like in the very beginning of class, right, where everything just kind of plugs in. Release the foot, and then bend the left knee, grab onto the foot, right, draw the heel towards the seat a little closer, find that neutral, more neutral position in the thigh, in the leg. Release the foot. Right, this time come up onto the forearms. So as you come up onto the forearms, right, we're gonna have to tilt that pelvis a bit more upright, right? So take the pubic bone in towards the mat, right? Elongate the low back. Come up onto the forearms, right? So now we're fully, we're supporting ourselves more from our low belly now too. All right, take the left arm across the body, right? Bend that right knee, take the arm out to the side, find that internal rotation, reach back for the leg. So as you bring the leg closer, right, you also reach long through the inner thigh. You also want to reach and lift through this whole front side of the body, right? So hug the belly in towards center to lift and support. And release the foot down. And switch sides with the arm. So the right arm's going to come across the body. Find the internal rotation on the left arm, press it back. Catch the foot, right? So as you keep the leg more narrow, right, lift and hug in through the belly to help support the trunk upright. And then come back, release the release the foot, take the hand back down, and then lower down back onto your belly. And press the hands into the ground, right? Reach the tailbone long. Come up onto all fours and then back on your heels. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Go ahead and open up your eyes. Grab your blanket, right? And then that same fold that we had earlier, we're going to use here. Right. So again, if you have fringes, just take those away from the face. Set your blanket up towards the center of your mat and then come back onto all fours, lower the hips down. Right. So we want the hips, the tops of the thighs supported. And then return with the forehead down on the ground, your arms down by your sides. All right, so we're going to come into bow. Dhanurasana. So we've already basically have done this, right? We just did one on one side and one on the other. So now we're just going to bring both sides together to have this symmetrical, even back bend, right? So what I want you to really focus on is keeping that neutralness in the legs, right? So that it's almost like you think of having a block, like you're hugging a block in between your legs the whole time, right? So that they just stay parallel. And so you're going to reach long through the inner legs, right? You're going to focus on keeping the low back soft and long, right? But then also elongating and reaching the sternum away from the navel. So we're going to start on our belly. Right, arms by our sides, palms up, and already start to initiate this length and freedom in the chest and neck, right? So the collarbones are broad, the shoulders are reaching away from the ears, right? The legs are long and strong, right? So toes pointed, and then start initiating that lift right here from like the inner, the pubic floor to the big toe. Bend the knees. Take the arms back, right? Hold on to the feet. Hold on to the ankles or the feet, right? Flex the feet. So at the same time, right, we're going to lift the inner thighs, lift the trunk, and balance on our belly. So prepare with an exhale. And then take a big inhale and lift. All right, think of holding that block in between your thighs. All right, continue to lift from the inner thigh. Lengthen the sternum away from the navel, and then take the shoulders away from the ears. Keep the gaze forward and soft. All right, and continue to lift the legs. Lift the chest. And then lower down. Take the right cheek down. And extend the legs. And pause. And come back to center with the head. Re-engage the body, bend the knees, grab onto the feet or the ankles, flex the feet, On your next inhale, lift everything up. Focus on your breath, that 1-point mind. Exhale everything down. Straighten the legs, come onto the left cheek. Sway the hips from side to side. Come back to center and pause. Take the hands by your sides. Press yourself up. Move your blanket just down towards the bottom edge of your mat. Fold it once in half so you get a little height. And then come to lie down on your back. Have the knees bent, feet on the floor. And then just align yourself here so that if you were to straighten your legs, your blanket would come directly under your knees. But have the knees bent and we'll meet with the feet on the floor. So draw the knees into the chest. And you take your hands onto your shins and allow the weight of your arms to pull down on the legs. You think of the low back spreading. Close your eyes if you haven't already. Take the legs over to the right. If your legs don't make it to the floor, or if it's more comfortable, you can place a block in between the floor and your legs. Move into a slower rhythm of breath. Bring yourself back to center. And take the feet down. Realign yourself. And draw the knees back in. And take the legs over to the right. Come back to center. Take the feet down, realign yourself. And straighten the right leg, straighten the left leg. Right. If you feel that, or if you find that blanket is not under the thighs and knees, like more under the bottom half of the thigh and the knee, right? Just adjust yourself and then straighten the legs. Take your hands by your sides. Close your eyes. Go inward. If you can stay here for a while, then please do. If you have to come up with me, bend your knees, roll onto your side, and use your arm as a pillow. Stay for a round of breath. Press yourself up to find a seat. Take a moment to adjust to being upright. And then when you're ready, go ahead and open up your eyes. Thank you so much for sharing your practice with me. If you have any comments, questions, any kind of feedback that you'd like to share, I'd love to hear from you. Thank you so much and enjoy the rest of your day.